This is your Chargers linebacker, Dan Henley, and you're tuning in with Chargers Unleashed.
Welcome to another edition of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Dan Wolkenstein here with you from the LAFB Network. If this is your first time tuning in to the show, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Dan Wolkenstein, tradition like none other when the Chargers social media team gets to work and puts their heads together and drops the 2025 Chargers schedule release video. We got 2 straight years of anime. Last year it was The Sims, and now this year, the Chargers social media team has come together to hit us with, of course, sticking with the hot trends of the world, Minecraft, for their latest schedule release. We are going to break everything down, all the little Easter eggs and nuances in each one of these schedules. Obviously, break down the strength of schedule because in the order that these games were placed, this is going to be a tough schedule for the Chargers upcoming. And we're going to break everything down. Obviously, the schedule is going to drive the narrative of the show, but of course, we are also going to answer any questions that you guys have, so please feel free to get them in the comments. Let's talk about it. Let's dissect it. Dan Wolkenstein, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I am vindicated. I feel great. Jake, you and I were talking last night, and not to toot my own horn, you and I were talking last night.
We were thinking of ideas, and Dan Wolkenstein, you...
First thought was
well
Minecraft.
Done. Well done.
Shot my shot. And sure enough, they go Minecraft. So, Chargers fans, we have our 2025 season schedule now available to dissect. And we talked about it originally. This is going to be a tough slate of opponents in 2025 versus a year ago. And now we have it. Jake, how are you? Folks in the chat, how are you? What are we drinking? How are we feeling? How many wins? We'll get to predictions a little bit here. But what are your thoughts, Jake? How are you?
I'm doing fine. It's moments like this. I know some people can look at the schedule release as, something that's not that big a deal. Obviously, we started hearing some leaks just days and weeks before this. We obviously knew about the Sao Paulo matchup with the Chiefs to open the season last week, but this is always just fun, and it makes you just feel like we're that much closer to football season, especially in the drawl after the draft. And now you can really think to yourself, okay, this is what the Chargers are up against this year when they take the field. And we already knew, based on the opponents that were out there, that it was going to be a tough schedule. But again, when you look at the order that these games are right now, this is a really tough sled for the Chargers. I mean, you open up the season against 3 divisional opponents. You have a late bye week 12. You finish 4 out of your last 5 games are against playoff teams from a season ago. This is going to be a tough stretch. This is going to test a lot as it relates to the Chargers, and especially in an AFC West that is now absolutely stacked from both personnel and coaching alike. This is going to be a dogfight to get to the playoffs. No doubt about it.
This is a great one. Let's get some of these comments before we go through the schedule here and get kind of our first takes, first thoughts. And folks in the chat, let us know some Easter eggs. We're going through this live with you. I've watched it a grand total of less than 1 time full. I haven't even finished the credits yet. So, folks in the chat, let us know what your favorite things are.
Credits are some of my favorites.
Oh, man. Let's get to some of these chats real quick. Athir is here. I want the smoke, baby, with a $5 donation. Jetta versus my young corner Hart in prime time. Let's go. Some of these other comments here. I got a bunch. James Wagner, bolt up. Time for a Chargers 1-0 from Brazil, pounding against the Chiefs. Contrary to popular belief, I'm calling it. God bless you guys. Folks are excited about the Week 12 bye. In the comments, what are your thoughts? Matthew Dahl's a fan. Funny-ass video, LMAO.
I thought it was great. I mean, again, you always have to re-watch the Chargers release schedule like a couple times to make sure that you see every single Easter egg that is in there for every single matchup. I personally loved the after credits, appropriately so. I'm wearing a Marvel t-shirt, so stay for the after credits because the Ian Rappaport, Jordan Schultz Minecraft brawl at the Starbucks, just throwing it in there afterwards was Hilarious. And then, of course, they give ode to the Minecraft movie with the chicken jockey and everybody trashing the theaters. You got to hand it to the Chargers social media team. They just leave no stone unturned.
Yes, I agree. Jason Rosenberg, the social media team killed it again. This one was up there with the anime release. 5-minute long, by the way. Unbelievable. Week 12 bye. Not a huge fan, by the way, which we'll get to here. I think they're mixed feelings. I'm all about it. Apparently, there's a QR code somewhere. Let us know what that QR code points to.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. If anybody catches that, feel free to drop that in here. Because, again, Dan and I have only watched the release on one run-through so far.
Sweet Jump says, aloha, boys. And then let's, as we get to the schedule here, G-Pal Money, 3 division games right off the rip. It's tough, but if they can win those, they'd be off to an amazing start. So, Jake, let's get to the actual schedule here. For those watching, we have the schedule live on the screen. So, week 1, Chargers are at home, quote unquote, in Brazil against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a Friday, primetime. By the way, I think they have 5 primetime games this year. Week 2, 10 days later, which is nice. 10 days later, on the 15th, away against the Raiders at the Roomba, which you saw in Minecraft. Then week 3 at home against the Broncos. So 2 out of 3 are home against divisional opponents. Really, it's 1. Then at New York, with that revamped Giants offense, which should be fun.
P.S.
Then,
pause on New York, by the way, because that was actually one of my favorites of the video. The Giants GM walking into his room and he turns around and it's like, warning, there might be monsters. And all of a sudden, here comes the ghost of Saquon Barkley coming out of the walls in a Philadelphia Eagles jersey. That was spectacular.
Yeah, see, I haven't even got to all of that yet. So let's look at that first 5 games. Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos, Giants, Commanders. The Chiefs one's going to be fun. I like the Raiders. We got 2 primetime games back-to-back with a little mini bye there right at the beginning of the season, which is kind of cool. Then Broncos, Giants, Commanders. What sticks out to you on that from... Well, actually, hold on. Before we get to like the top, let's kind of just go overall macro. You are going to have what? YouTube, Kansas City Chiefs, the Raiders. You're then going to have the Vikings on primetime, the Steelers on primetime, the Eagles on primetime. And then there are easily some other options that could possibly be flex. So that's
Which
5.
guarantee you there will be. I guarantee you there will be.
So that's 5 primetime games, Sweet Jumps, currently. I bet you that's up with the most.
We had the over a couple weeks ago when we were talking about this.
We did.
I think you had set the line at 5, and we both took the over. We thought that there was going to be more given the opponents.
Yeah. But it's interesting though. I think having those 3 divisional games right up front is a great test early off, and kind of helps you see who the pace car is.
Oh, it's going to set the tone. I mean, if you want to say the urgency is there from the get-go, they're putting it right to you. We always talk about how important divisional games are, and maybe so no more than this year, how important they are with how each team has reloaded at coaching standpoint, from a player standpoint. Make no mistake about it. Chargers and Raiders always usually play each other very, very tough, regardless of the circumstances. But this season is going to be extremely competitive between all 4 teams.
Steven says, very doable schedule considering our opponents. I mean, again, considering the circumstances, I guess. Carlos says we go 3-0 to start the division. And we got back-to-back games in the division. That's insane. So this is tough. Like, I don't want to be the pessimist of us right now. But in reality, if I look at this schedule, there is no more than 2 easy, quote unquote, games, which no game is easy. But looking at the opponents on paper, there's no more than a 2-game stretch before you're back on the horse with contenders. Chiefs, contender. Raiders, not sure. Broncos, contenders. Giants, not sure. Commanders, contenders. Miami, not sure. Colts, I would probably say no. Vikings, definitely. Titans, not sure. Pittsburgh, definitely. Jacksonville, not sure. Then a bye. So maybe it's that week 11, 12, 13. If they can go through the Titans, Steelers, Jaguars, Raiders, right? That 4-game stretch with the bye in between. That's pretty nice. But then Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Texans, Broncos. God. Chargers won 11 games last year. This team is going to have to be much better in many facets for this team to win 11 games. In 11 games, this season is going to be effing insane. If this team wins 11 wins this season, sign Coach Harbaugh up for Coach of the Year. 11 wins against this gauntlet? Good Lord. So, folks in the chat, what are your thoughts? Matthew Dahl says, this year it's time to beat the playoff teams. No more losing to them. Yeah.
Yeah, on top of going through this gauntlet, it's getting to the playoffs because of what happened last year. So it's not like last season where, in terms of strength of schedule, the Chargers had one of the easiest in the entire league. And now you got to go through this gauntlet just to get back to the playoffs in order to get that win for Justin Herbert that everybody has been waiting so long for. Whew, 2025 is going to be insane.
Hanan Derry says, no easy stretches, but 11-5, I think he means 11-6 is feasible because we have Justin Herbert or Jim Harbaugh times 3. Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert, Joe Hortiz.
That's right.
So, Jake, that first 3-game stretch, it's going to be tough, man. Say what you will about the Raiders. I loved their draft.
Their draft was great.
Say what you will, the Broncos. They're a good team, and they got a damn good team to go with Bo Nix this year. Added a running game with RJ Harvey. Like, clearly a playoff team. So 2 of your first 3 games are against the playoff teams, and then your other game is against the division rival that added Ashton Genty and Jack Besh.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, you're coming ready to play every single week here.
I kind of like going on the road against the Raiders because I feel like it's been at home against Raiders the last few years. And Chargers have won it, which is great, but it's kind of nice to change it up.
I mean, again, pseudo home opener against the Chiefs. And like you mentioned, you get 10 days in between, but then you still got to go straight from Brazil to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Not the easiest. I don't even care about the 10 days in between. It's still what you have to do. Then you finally come back home in week 3 against Denver Broncos. But your opponents that you have to go up against, those first 3 games are nasty. Again, I would say best case scenario, you come out of that stretch, first 5 games, 3-2.
Oh, first 5 games. Yep.
You're looking okay. It's those last 5, Dan, that I'm really looking at that are going to be super competitive. And again, that's really going to decide playoff time.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. What are some of the reactions from folks about the Chargers schedule on social media? I guess Ian Rappaport tweeted something to the Chargers.
Bro, the fact again that they added Ian Rappaport and Schultz brawling it out in Starbucks is fantastic. Stay for the after credits. Stay for the humor.
So good. So good. Okay. Ian Rappaport just quote tweeted it with bro.
Yes. So good.
Yes. According to Ari Meirov, amount of primetime games by team, Chargers are third most. Kansas City has 7. Dallas has 6. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams with 5. Including the Chargers. Niners, Bills, Commanders, Eagles, Lions, Falcons, and Dolphins, all with 5 primetime games. So, third most. We knew it was going to be high. There you have it.
Dan, and I'll give you some time on this, but if you are able to cycle through the actual schedule release video itself, of course, no audio or anything of that nature, but just to get some of the little Easter eggs that may have been sprinkled through each one of the matchups.
Yes. I'm sure I'm going to get flagged for copyright, but I can see.
Didn't happen last year.
No,
You
it
got
did.
through it just
I think
fine.
it did. I think it did. Yeah.
Bastards. Sons of bitches. Okay. Whatever.
Okay. So
we'll do the best we can here.
So, folks in the chat, you got to help us out with these as we go. Before we get kind of moving on this, Jake, let's get to some of these comments. About time we finally have a decent buy, says Gustavo. We seemingly have a mean three-headed monster running back unit pounding if this offensive line is tight. This year, I could definitely see a split against the Chiefs. Steve says, wow, this schedule is brutal. Maybe one of the toughest this year. That said, bolt up. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is from Jason Rosenberg. But did the NFL not screw us over with short week opponents except 2 Monday night games? If anything, they gave us multiple mini bye weeks.
Yeah, I didn't catch any unfair short weeks in there whatsoever. So kudos to the scheduling team.
Yes, although flip side, Chargers have the most miles to travel on schedule of any team.
Don't forget, for the second consecutive year, they did travel the most miles of any NFL team last season as well. And of course, the trip to Brazil adds a lot. Dan, you had tweeted out, what was it? 3 times more than that. What was it?
I think it was 3 times more than like 5 teams in the NFL, something like that.
Dan and I are both in a message thread with a number of football guys from different fan bases. We get a text message from a Bengals fan today who's just enjoying the mileage that the Chargers have to travel, while the Bengals are, of course, last in miles traveled.
Uber Goober Jack says we pay the Colts on Sunday, then Thursday versus the Vikings. So that's the one mini one.
All right.
So, Jake, shall we get to these Easter eggs?
Yes, let's see it.
Again, we don't have audio on here. We're trying our best to not do some copyright stuff. So let's kind of freeze frame here. Anything from the Chiefs that stood out to you?
I mean, this was great coming up with, the Brazilian culture for the game here and where they put it up. AFC West estates.
Family, trust, respect.
Yes. I loved how they just duplicated what they did for the Raiders and the Broncos and the Chiefs, essentially, with just little changes on each one. And of course, the Raiders one is the best one for what they end up doing with it. It's so good.
It is. Look at the little gnome guy. Isn't that the Chiefs mascot over here? Oh, that's great. Okay. Let's see. Week 2 at the Raiders.
All the AFC West teams now have a palatial estate.
Did you see the guy jumping into Rivers Lake?
Rivers Lake.
Yep. That made an appearance. Love that. This is Denver Broncos. Anything funny happening here? I don't see anything other than the Bronco in the stable.
But the palatial estate, of course, for the Raiders is something completely different than anybody else. It's
with the Pop-Tart on the front door.
Yes. So good.
Steaming pile of cow dung is what that reminds me of. Against the Broncos. There's a bunch of Broncos up on there's goats on the hill. That's just hilarious. Chargers riding Broncos coming in. Justin Herbert coming in. Love that. Okay. Orange Crush, you now own 53 donkeys. Yep. Oh, this is funny. Can we use frequent flyer miles to move up in next year's draft? Yes, please.
That'd be nice if those were draft assets, right?
I wish that's how it worked.
Dan, go to week 4 because I absolutely loved this part of the schedule.
Week 4. Here we go.
Look at this. Better to talk. So Daniel Dones law firm, a little bit of a play on Daniel Jones. Instead, it's backwards. It's Janiel Dones.
Yep. Free medium soda today only. Season ticket members only. Additional terms and conditions apply. Welcome to Trash Revolution, says the jerseys.
Jeez.
Wow.
And then keep going.
All right. You got Tommy DeVito. You can't say the sky's the limit when people are on the moon.
James was in there with the quotes. So remember the Giants reloaded with not only Jackson Dart through the draft, but they got Russell Wilson and they got Jameis Winston. So keep that in mind. So yeah, here he is. Here he is going through the room, and then here comes about you may not rest now. There are monsters nearby. Turns
and
around.
Here comes Saquon.
Jeez, not letting that thing die at all.
Four Chargers or four.
This is so
Giants
good.
fan. Oh man! All right, so now we're at versus Commanders, Week 5. Loading terrain. Enter the Commanders Stadium. Here we are. Anything you notice here?
I was trying to catch anything on this one and I couldn't.
I couldn't catch that one either. Folks in the chat, let me know what we're missing.
Yeah, if anybody had any thoughts on that one. So Dan Marina, so here's the yacht for the Miami Dolphins.
There's two oh wait, what's the boat rules? BBL. 1, be aware. 2, be prepared. 3, look out.
Look out. And then they have a picture of Justin Herbert in the inside of the yacht here.
Oh my goodness. Oh, hold on. All right. Mike McDaniels, is that where he jumps in the water? Yep, Mike McDaniels jumps in the water. Then he's talking.
This is his like run to the like at halftime, and then he hauls ass to the locker room.
That's right.
Here they just have him swimming really fast.
So at Miami Week 6, that'll be a fun one. They've been in LA for the last couple times, so it'll be fun to see them play there. Oh, okay. Michael in the chat says Washington is their terrible stadium that's falling apart in the sewage leak. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Oh man. All right. So now we're getting to at the Dolphins Week 6. Oh,
this one was also creative as well. So basically, who's going to win the quarterback race for the Indianapolis Colts? Is it going to be Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, or Jason Bean? Start your engines. Did you notice that it was also Andrew Luck up there with the checkered flag?
No.
Yeah, go back to that. Go back to the top.
Captain Andrew Luck.
And they made him in the old school war uniform, as his old Twitter handle used to be.
Talk about a fall from grace from Anthony Richardson, by the way. Like, you're now in competition with Jason Bean and Daniel Jones. Just 1 year removed from like a pretty darn good start to the season before he got injured. All right. Anthony Richardson starts off. Richardson ran out of gas. Walking by the Pat McAfee suite. Oh, Justin Jefferson. All right. Now versus the Vikings.
First off, this whole layout is so cool for the Vikings like this.
Yeah.
I loved this shot. No. Just this whole layout and this camera shot of them moving through was great.
Timberwolves, Brazil. Kevin O'Connell. I don't know what that was reference to. Do you know what that House of Famous Juicy Lucy? What's the Juicy Lucy?
I didn't even catch the Juicy Lucy one.
Should I know who Juicy Lucy is?
Please tell me somebody knows what that reference is.
I have no idea what that means. Should I know?
Check out the banners on top.
8-time quarterfinal
best record among wild card games in 2024. 5-time. What is that? Quarterfinal runner-up. Which, hey, the dance lesson, you have to admit, the Vikings, their touchdown celebrations are creative as shit. They know what they're doing when it comes to that. But this is great. So Sam Darnold, and then all of a sudden, nope, I'm out of here. I'm going to the Seahawks. Goodbye.
Titans Week 9. They're going to be talking about
They flamed the Titans on this one. It's starting to glitch out. What's happening?
Oh, this one's great.
Nope.
Juicy Lucy is a burger melted with cheese in the middle of the patty. It was made in the Twin Cities.
Thank God it's a burger.
Dang. All right, so looking at the schedule, Jake. Again, we've got Titans. What was it? It was Dolphins after Week 5. It was Dolphins. Who's after Dolphins?
Colts?
Dolphins, Colts, Vikings, Titans. That could be a game. That's a stretch too, realistically, right? Like the Vikings are going to be legit JJ McCarthy. That'll be juicy. Him versus Jim Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 3 out of 4 game stretch that are winnable, I would say. Would you agree?
I would agree with that.
All right, let's keep rolling here.
Yeah.
Will Levis
Will
meme
Levis
overloaded
your bandwidth.
Continue schedule
Continue
release.
schedule
Yes.
release. This one was good as well.
Hours
Clinton
of
Steelers
operation.
all open always.
Absolutely no children allowed. Jeez. Clinton Steelers mine.
But I love this. Look where both of these guys end up going. Look the little sign right in the middle: contend or rebuild. What's gonna happen?
Oh, that's great. That's funny.
As they're going through here, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win?
We do not care. End of track.
We do not care.
Track ends
at 9 and 8, which always is at least where the Steelers end up, because they always at least have a winning record, whether or not they're making the playoffs. And then, of course, there's Aaron Rodgers just seeing everybody.
I didn't catch that.
It into the minds.
I didn't catch that. That is great. Oh, man. All right, so then you got Aaron Rodgers laughing at it. Okay, so now
Now, I know you don't have the audio on here, Dan, but if you caught it the first time, they took the audio of Liam Cohen. Yeah, the first time he said to fall and put it in there. So
Travis Hunter walking up. Love that. Justin Herbert.
This is the bye week, so Justin Herbert's fishing. And then, of course, they added Jim Harbaugh's audio in here and saying, "My guy," when he comes over to him. Back to the outhouse for the Raiders. Now let's decorate the place a little bit. Let's put up a little bit of Pete Carroll. There's that QR code, the QR code that I did not happen to catch. Of course, the infamous play with the Patriots, the Roomba. That was Ashton Genty when he got drafted, because everybody was saying, it's like, well, that was kind of messed up because he's so short.
That's right.
It only took up like this part of his face.
I forgot about that. What's this one?
And then you just end with
clouds. Okay. That's amazing.
And now the outhouse is nicely decorated.
Yeah. Okay.
But then
you died. You're blown up by a creeper. Wow. Okay. Save our tush push. They had the banner up. Jason Kelly's cell phone repair. Missing is have you seen who's Podcast P? I don't know that one. Swift service taken to new heights. See, they went over my head on this one. They win. What do these signs say? I wish I knew what those signs said.
I couldn't catch it either.
I don't know. What's this about? Cooper Jean.
Remember, they were in the thick of the Super Bowl parade last year.
Oh, that's right. Philly's book of the year. What book is that? 11-time bestseller. I don't know what book that is. I'm sure that's supposed to be funny. 94.1 radio that. Couldn't tell you. Okay. Let's switch up a little bit here, Jake. Let's get back to the schedule real quick. Folks, the chat. Oh, see, I'm nervous. I don't want to scan the QR code. Some people are saying to do it. Should we do it?
Do it.
Here, Jake, can you do it from your phone? I'll put it on the screen so you can do it. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Jake is now trying to do the QR code. We are live. What's come up? I'm nervous. I'm doing it now.
So it takes you to chargers.com, and then it gives you an option. Chargers fans, click here. Raiders fans, click here. Let's, for the sake of argument, click the Raiders fans. Scanner, click here. So it gives you another QR code. Then it tells you to click it. Technical difficulties, try this one instead. You click it again. Just one more time, we promise, with the same QR code. We lied. Scan again, though. Keeps making you click it. Just scan, baby, is what it keeps saying. Don't let this be you, with the infamous picture of going away from the diamonds and keep digging.
Oh, there's more though. There's more.
Almost there. Scanners.
You're still here.
You're still here. Don't you have a job? Oh, that was funny.
Okay, that's good. Well done, Chargers. Okay, let's pause here for Jake. Let's get back to the schedule release here for a sec. Where is that? Let me pull it up. Here we go.
So you went through Pittsburgh, at Jacksonville, then we get the bye, Las Vegas Raiders at home, then the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oof. Okay, so after the 5 weeks, I go to Miami, home against the Colts and Vikings, to Tennessee, home against the Steelers, then at Jacksonville with a bye week during Thanksgiving.
This stretch here, I think you could be 3-1.
Which one? Vikings, Titans, Steelers, Jags?
Steelers, Jaguars, Raiders, Eagles. I think you could go 3-1 in this.
So you're having them sweep everyone but the Eagles?
Yep.
But you add on top of that, the Titans, that's 4-1.
I know, but technically, yes. I wasn't considering a part of that little stretch, but yes.
So 4-1. Say you lose the Vikings, 4-2. Say you beat the Colts, 5-2. Beat the Dolphins, 6-2. Good stretch.
This window right here, Titans, Steelers, Jaguars, and Raiders, that may be your easiest 4 block of the entire season.
Yeah. They're
all very winnable games right there.
They're going to have to really start chalking up some wins in this section. This section right here. You got games against the Giants, Dolphins, Colts, Titans, Jaguars, Raiders. You're hoping that's at least 6 wins. Right there. Because the rest of it is Chiefs twice, Broncos twice, Texans who just blew the doors off your team, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. Tough sledding.
Yeah.
So primetime game after weeks 1 and 2. Next one would be week 8 versus the Minnesota Vikings against JJ McCarthy, which will be interesting. So you get to go up against rookie quarterback. Sign me up for Jesse Minter against rookie quarterback. That'll be a cool moment, though, for a lot of the coaching staff.
That's going to be a great matchup, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of intangibles and connective tissue there. That's going to be fun to watch.
Yep. Jacksonville. What did Jacksonville do in the draft this year? What did Tennessee and Jacksonville do in the draft? Do you know off the top of your head?
Come on, Dan. They traded up.
Travis Hunter. That's right. In Tennessee, they got Cam Ward. So new franchises there. That'll be interesting. So you get to go up against essentially 2 rookie quarterbacks this year, right? No, 3? I'm not sure what the Giants are doing or the Colts.
Well, who knows? Who knows who's going to be the starting quarterback by the time that the Chargers get to play the Giants? We'll see.
Exactly. Yeah. So, dang. Okay. All right. Then you get to Thanksgiving. Chargers have a bye week. Love to see it. Let's see. Breeze B with a $13 donation, or 13 Canadian dollar donation, excuse me. Between weeks 10 to 14, 4 and 5 weeks at home, it's gold. Then it gets real the last 3 or 4 games on the road. And if the Bolts sneak into the playoffs, that's 4 or 5 on the road.
Not only are you playing your last 5 games, 4 out of 5 teams that made the playoffs last year, but 3 of your last 5 are on the road.
Yeah. Let's do this real quick. How many of these games are playing up against our playoff teams? Do you know that? I haven't looked at that yet.
I could just go through it right now. So
Chiefs 1,
yes.
Broncos
Denver's
2,
yes. Commanders yes.
3. Vikings 4.
Vikings yes.
Steelers 5. Eagles 6. Chiefs 7.
Well, you already counted the Chiefs.
I know, but they're the games. 7 games against playoff teams. Texans, Broncos 8, 9. Did Cowboys make the playoffs last year?
No.
So 9 of their 17 games are against playoff teams. And then 2 more against divisional opponent and the Raiders. And then their easy quote unquote games are against the Dolphins, Jags, Titans, Colts.
It is tough.
Oof. And then, then you get to the bye in that Raiders game. afterwards, it's tough sledding. You got Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Texans, Broncos. Like, you could say they're going to win or lose all of those. You think that they can win the Cowboys game at Denver, at Kansas City? Tough. Against Houston,
Houston's going to be tough again.
At home, still. We saw what happened last time.
Like, we remember what the Texans' defense is. They showed us what they were in that playoff game. And then you just go out and you get both Iowa State wide receivers to pair with Nico Collins. Like, they knew what they needed on offense to rebuild. So it's gonna be a hell of a game by that point in time of the season.
Yeah. And talk about, I mean, those last two games are totally going to be like playoff seeding. Like, you're playing for your playoff lives, because probably all three, Chargers, Texans, Broncos, are all, in theory, going to be vying for the playoffs. Sheesh.
Let's go back to the schedule release video here again.
All right, let's get back to the schedule release.
Hit me with the Final Four, and then, of course, the after credits.
Okay, well, I got to freaking try to find it now. I don't know where.
It's all right. Take your time.
All right, get some of these comments while we get to it.
Let's see this one. Breeze B says, the flip side is if the Bolts win the conference, they can rest their starters in Week 18 against the Broncos. Look, I'm going to tell you this. Winning the AFC West in general, I don't care what team it is, whether it's the Chiefs, who have essentially owned the division for the last decade, whether it's the Broncos, the Raiders, the Chargers, I don't care. Every single one of those teams is going to be so close in record. I think that they are going to beat the crap out of one another, and their schedules still are going to be tough to go through. I think the Chiefs are they going to be competitive? Yes. Are they going to make the playoffs? Yes. But I think they're going to come down to earth a little bit in terms of teams that are gunning for them, especially in the division. So I don't think there's going to be any situation, to where the AFC West is decided before the final week of the season. I honestly don't. Remember, 3 teams from the AFC West last year made the playoffs. I would love it if the Chargers could do it, but I don't think that that's possible, not with this schedule and not with this division.
All right, so we get past the Raiders. Got past the Eagles last time. All right. And now we are at the Chiefs again.
We're back to the Chiefs.
Ender Eagle.
Essentially taking the jab at the Super Bowl beatdown that the Chiefs received.
Okay.
Now you're at the Cowboys.
At the Cowboys.
Everybody rushing inside the stadium when the stadium opens in Dallas.
Karaoke cam. Defense wins championships, in quotes. You got Micah Parsons up there in the rafters.
And I think this was, I can't remember if this was talking about everybody that, let's see, I'm not going to win a Super Bowl there. This is all the things that Micah was talking about from his podcast when everything was going down with the free agency moves, or his being upset with the team at that current point in time. And I remember the beef that was going on there.
Jeez. George Pickens joins the game.
And everything's
I didn't see that. All right, now we're at the Texans. Wanted. Dirty Bubble awarded key to the city. For sale, trash can. So they got the nod to the nod to the Houston Astros. Oh, that's funny. All right, let's see what's going on over here. You got the Texans mascot coming in here. CJ Stroud
walks into a bar, and there's Khalil Mack. Saturday Showdown rematch is set. Back to Justin Herbert collecting the Broncos.
Is that Ladd too?
There's Ladd.
Yeah. Ladd's in there with who's in the what's going on here? This is good. 2 L's? I'm guessing
2 L's.
Lightning Ladd. Is that what that is?
It'd be Lightning Ladd or Denver Broncos 2 L's for
2 losses.
Games against them. Yep.
All right.
And then the great after credits.
The credits. All right.
Oh,
So what's
God.
this
So
one?
there you got Jim Harbaugh doing the whole smack on the jersey.
Oh,
with
yep,
Justin
yep.
Herbert getting him warmed up for pregame. That one I actually didn't catch.
Who's this?
So 29. I can't tell if that's Chicago. Is that
Bears?
Chicago Bears? Someone help me out if they happen to catch that.
Folks in chat, let us know about that one.
Cinema. Josh Allen. Sauce Gardner.
There's the
And then here we
Jordan
go
Schultz.
at the NFL Combine. Here's the brawl. Smack, smack, smack. It's great. And then, of course, the ode to everything, chicken jockey, but he's going up against Aaron Rodgers, of all people. And then like the movie theaters were actually getting trashed. Here's everybody going berserk watching that matchup. So good.
And then the pixelated Charger bolt to end it.
It's fantastic.
Today was pretty. Says that the Colts did the same thing with their schedule release at Minecraft too. Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious what the around the NFL looks like with their releases. That'll be fun. So, schedule is now known. Do you want to do predictions? I'm kind of nervous to do predictions.
Well, you make us do it every single time. So why would you stop a trend now, even if you hate it?
Okay, fine. And Jake found it. Matthew Dahl. Folks, the chat got it. Remember the last play where
yes, very nice. Very nice. I would not have thought that. Well done.
Oof. That's brutal.
That was just a random shot. They decided to throw it in the after credits.
Jeez.
Which again, you go back to that moment of the Chicago Bears season. That literally was just the turning point of everything negative that happened to them the rest of the way last year. After that play, they just were not able to recover.
Yeah.
But yeah, catching strays, Chicago Bears, the Chargers don't even play them this year. And they're still in the video somehow.
Brad, are we live, bro? Yeah. Brad, we're here. We are live. Whew. Okay. Well, folks in the chat, tell us, what win total do you foresee this season of the Chargers? Jake, let's get into this a little bit. Week 1 in Brazil. W or L? This episode's gonna take 14 hours.
It's always tough to pick against Kansas City just given the record. But you know what? Fuck it.
It's good for you.
Today is May 14th. I don't give a shit. Call it a win.
Okay. What's the next game on schedule?
The Raiders. After 10 days, the Raiders going to Las Vegas.
How do you have that one? Let's not kid ourselves.
You get Pete Carroll and you get Jim Harbaugh up against each other really early in the season. You get Ashton Genty and Omarion Hampton getting to run down the opposing team's throats in that game. Yep. I said to Dan, and I'm sure everybody felt like this when the Raiders ended up drafting Ashton Genty. It's like, oh God, that's going to suck having to go up against him twice a year. And then when the Chargers selected Omarion Hampton at 22, you're like, oh, that kind of took away this thing a little bit because now teams have to deal with Omarion Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
That matchup is going to be much more physical than people think it is. And especially with the draft that the Raiders had and now with their new coaching adjustments, I'll still give it a W, Dan. I'll still give it a W because it is the Raiders.
Really?
Okay. Raiders week is what Raiders week is. You never go into those games expecting to lose. So,
okay.
But that's going to be a hell of a game to watch. And that's Monday Night Football.
All right. So here's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to get this going for us here where we can actually put our predictions live as we go. This will be red. Here we go. Gotta love live TV here. Almost ready.
Sweet Jump says, let's just get to 10 wins as fast as we can. Hey, you'd love that, right?
Yes.
You'd love that.
That'd be great. That'd be great. All right, Jake, I'm going to have you on the left. I'm going to have me on the right. So we're going to go through this on real time.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Okay. I'm going to be on the left. You're going on the right. I got lost against the Chiefs, win against the Raiders. Do you agree?
Okay. I had him going 2-0 to start.
Oh.
Remember, I had him beating Kansas City and the Raiders.
Okay, so you're going to be on the right here. So
again, it's May 14th. I said, screw it. Who gives a shit?
17-0, baby. Here we go.
Let's have some fun.
All right. Broncos, home, week 3.
One of these games they're going to lose. I think one of these games they're going to drop. And
you think that's the one?
Something's just telling me that that's going to be the one. And I'd hate for it really to be the home opener. I really hate that. Or pseudo. I mean, you call the game against Brazil the home team. But yes, this is the real home opener against the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
But again, Sean Payton and that defense was extremely underrated, and they added to it. It only got stronger. And then they said, okay, let's add some offense to help Bo Nix out. That game's going to be so much better. Remember, when the Chargers played the Denver Broncos early in the season last year, they were not nearly the team that they were to finish that season. And they got a lot better. And I think that game's going to be competitive. So, unfortunately, I'm going to chalk that one up as a loss.
Okay. All right. So I think we both have 2-1, just done differently.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Now we get to week 4, Giants.
Chalk it up as a win.
Okay. Win for you.
Who's going to be the quarterback of the New York Giants by the time that we hit week 4? Who the hell knows? Place your bets.
Commanders.
Oof. Talk about a team that made some noise in the playoffs last year, came so close to getting to the Super Bowl. Look, I loved what Jaden Daniels was able to do in his rookie season, and he's only going to get better. But you know what? I don't think that the Chargers are going to lose 2 consecutive home games, Dan. I don't think that they're going to do that, especially.
Optimistic Jake has entered the chat.
Just wait. Just wait.
All right, I'm chalking this up as a loss. Again, I'm practicing being a realist here. Snap to reality. All right, at Dolphins.
This goes more on history than anything else in terms of where the Chargers travel. Some reason when the game is at Miami, the Chargers, for some reason, just seem to have a tough time there. And it's not from the standpoint of Tua or the personnel, and I'm not trying to chalk it up to anything like that, but something's just telling me that they're not going to come away with. Why are you putting a W there, Dan?
I'm over here. You're over here.
Okay.
You're on the left.
So yes, then I've got some reasons, just something about when they go to Miami.
Okay.
I'm taking it as a loss.
I'm not even going to ask you about the Colts. I know you got that as a W.
Yes. Again, who's going to be the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts by the time we hit week 7? Who the hell knows?
Vikings.
Yeah, I got this one. I make no mistake about it. This one is going to be competitive as hell because of the weapons that J.J. McCarthy is going to be surrounded with. But now you've got his former head coach, his former defensive coordinator, all that personnel that knows what his tendencies are. I think that Jim Harbaugh is going to come away with a win on that one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I agree with you here. Give Jesse Minter and company a game against any rookie quarterback. Doesn't matter, even if it's the one that got the national championship. I think advantage them. At Tennessee.
Well, number one, I'm just looking at your little flub on my side. I had them losing against the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Well, first you're telling me 2 seconds.
Sorry.
Confusing the crap out of me here, Dan.
Yeah. There we go.
There it is. Yes, Tennessee Titans will take that as a win as well.
Okay. Okay. Steelers.
Is Aaron Rodgers coming to Pittsburgh? I don't know.
You know the defense is going to be stacked.
The defense is going to be stacked. Hell yes.
They've got DK Metcalf now.
But again, who the hell's throwing the rock?
Whoever's throwing the rock is, if it's going to be, if it's Aaron Rodgers, like, say what you want about Aaron Rodgers, he is definitely an upgrade with who they've had in the past.
It's not a big bar to jump over, however. So let's not forget that. I'll count it as a win, Dan. That's a home game against Pittsburgh. I'll count it as a win.
And we're already into week 10, and we are such homers right now. There's no chance this team goes. Let's continue. See what happens.
Just wait, dude. You haven't hit that last 5-game stretch.
Okay. I might have to revise this as we get back there. At Jacksonville.
You're going to hate me for this one because there is always one game that the Chargers schedule comes into play. I don't care what it is. Just throw a dart
Track game.
at a game that you're going to say to yourselves like, oh, for sure, that game, they're definitely winning. There is always one game of the season that they always will surprise you, and it's going to end up being a loss when it shouldn't have been.
Okay.
I'm taking this game against Jacksonville as a loss. Again, nothing to do with the competitiveness or the roster. I'm just having this kind of be not the mulligan, but like the outlier that they're going to drop.
Okay. I'm changing this one. There's no way.
Look at you all over the place.
Yeah, I'm changing it. I'm like, this is just too many greens. All right. Then against the Raiders, week 13 after the bye. So going into the bye, you've got them winning 4-8. You got them being 8-3 going into the bye.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow, miraculously, I do too. With the gauntlet of the schedule so far, 8-3. Chargers, if 8-3 happens after week 12, bro.
I think that they actually end up splitting with the Raiders this year. Dan, I'm gonna ask you to flip the W at Las Vegas, bring it down to the home game after the bye, and then I want you to replace that one with a loss.
So they're gonna go 1-2 to start.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Eagles loss. Right?
Yep.
Again, we'll get way more into the specifics here as we get further into the offseason, get closer to the regular season. So we'll give our official something tells me they're going to lose that one. I don't have a good feeling about that one. I think they're 2-0, 3-0 at SoFi against the Raiders. Watch them pull out their navy blues. That would suck. At the Chiefs.
It's at Kansas City.
Yep. Loss.
Even the doinks of the gods have them win. So it's unfortunately, chalk it up as a loss.
People are going to hate me. Until they beat the Chiefs, I'm just predicting a loss every time.
Every time.
I'm sorry. They've lost
Stick out your chest, Dan. Come on.
No, I am sticking out my chest. I'm putting this with reality here. At Cowboys. I got that as a win.
Yes.
Okay. You as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Texans, Broncos. So going into the last 2 games of the season, Jake's got them at 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 losses already. So they're at 9-6?
Yep.
3, 6. Yeah. All right. 9-6 in the last 2 weeks. Houston, win or loss?
Man, Jim Harbaugh should just take a break during this week of practice, and he should have Khalil Mack run this entire week of practice. Revenge game galore for this one, and you get him back at home. Fuck yeah.
Ooh, Jake's putting his chest out on this one.
Fuck yeah. Justin Herbert's going to want that one back. The defense is going to want this one back. I think the Chargers are going to be able to execute the running game that they wanted to do all along in that game. And yeah, Justin Herbert's going to have a hell of a lot more weapons besides Ladd McConkey that can separate from man coverage and catch the damn ball.
Final game, week 18.
You had it as a loss at Denver?
Yeah. Yep.
I was leaning towards that as well. Yeah, I essentially have them splitting 1-1 with all their divisional opponents in this one. I just think it's just going to be too good between those 4 teams. I really do.
So in this, Jake's got a 4-game winning streak. I've got a 5-game winning streak. That's just, there's no way, but that's what I have. These are my gut. 3, 6, 7. I got 10-7. 10-7. Folks in the chat, what do you got him at? 10-7. I've got wins against the Raiders, the Broncos, the Giants, the Colts, the Vikings, Titans, Steelers, Jags. That's a sweet haul right there if they can get to that. Then a 3-game losing streak. Chargers fans go crazy, up in arms after they lose to the Raiders, then Eagles and Chiefs. Eagles, Chiefs back-to-back going against 2 Super Bowl teams. Like, that's brutal.
KeAndre 5000 is touching the old me in the negative department. We lose to the Jags, get swept by Kansas City and the Broncos. Optimism galore right now.
Bree Wilkie. See, I'm already scared to say some name that's going to bite me again. 12-5. James Wagner says 12-5. It's 11-7. The math ain't mathin'. 11. They go 11-7, dude. How'd you go 11-7? That's not how it works. 10-7. I did something wrong here. What did I do wrong here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. No, that's right. Okay.
Is it the bye week?
I don't know what they're talking about. All right. A lot of people got 17-0, 11-6, 10-7. Noah says, Chargers keep blowing our doubts out the water. With more change in the right direction in year 2, Chargers come out with at least 11 wins.
You know what, Dan? I apologize. I forgot because I was just saying that I was having them split with each team.
Mm-hmm.
So give me the Denver game. Give me the Denver game at home. Again, I just realized that I put them losing both. So change the home one to a W, if you please.
So optimistic Jake enters the chat.
Just realized that. Just looking back at mine. So my faux pas on that one. Sorry.
So Jake got 11-6.
I got 11-6.
CC Stick says Chargers are going 2-0 against the Chiefs.
And you'd always love to go against the Chiefs 2-0, but we just haven't seen it in 10 years.
James Wagner says Chargers sweep the division. We can dream. 13-4. A lot of 13-4s in here too. Alski says, guys, we're sweeping the Raiders. Fix that. Don't sleep on the Raiders this year, man. They got a much better quarterback situation. They got some studs on offense finally. I mean, think about that offense right now. Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, Jack Besh, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer. I know I'm missing. Who's the other receiver they got? Jacoby Myers.
Didn't they also pick up Thornton, Dan?
They did. The guy I wanted in the draft.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, nobody should be. Again, I know it's Raiders week, and we can all have our feelings towards one of the best rivalries in the history of the NFL, and that's totally fine. But they are going to be a much improved team next year because as much as we want to beat them, they want to beat us just as bad, and it's always a competitive matchup with them.
Yep, and they finally got it. And I think they got a good coach. I think that's a good coach for that team right now. Apparently, the Jets said we had a Minecraft video ready, but decided to change it last minute.
Just saw that.
That's amazing. I was pretty dead on with the Minecraft.
Good job. Good prediction on your part, Dan.
Dang. Chargers.
Chase Daniel says, I'm sorry, but the Chargers win again. All Minecraft.
Man. That's crazy. So I got 4, technically. Again, let's call it 3. 3 home games, a neutral site, and away in primetime. That's pretty good.
And there's going to be more primetime games than this. Again, you get
hope.
towards the end. I think that Houston game with playoff implications on the line at that point of the season, I think that's going to get flexed into primetime for sure.
Yeah, Broncos could easily as well, especially the playoffs on the line. I could see, yeah. The Vikings one's going to be fun.
That is going to be a fun watch.
Eagles I'm nervous for. I'm not going to lie. That's just, oof. Oof. Which games to attend, asks.
Oh my God, take your pick this year. Holy shit. I mean, we talk about how many are going to be competitive and how tough the season's going to be for the Chargers, but you've got great matchups littered everywhere this season. Again, you were just mentioning the Philadelphia Eagles a second ago. God, you better hope that whatever plan that the Chargers have for their offensive line between now and then gets figured out. Holy shit. If the Chargers offensive line for some reason is not gelling by the time that matchup comes around, look out.
I mean, you got the Raiders. Look at the defensive line for the Jags, Raiders, Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Texans, Broncos. That is grueling. Oh, God. Benji betting $250. Charged with a division and another on the Super Bowl. Let that money rain.
Hell yeah, dude.
Let that money rain. Go for it. The Chargers just look better, but they did have Harbaugh flying away in the dirty bubble. I don't know what that's in reference to. Which games did you attend, Jake? When's the last time you attended a Chargers game, by the way?
It's been a minute since I've attended a Chargers game.
Yeah, you haven't attended a Chargers game since we've done this podcast.
Not true. I've attended one since we have done this podcast. Yes, so we have.
Which one?
This was back in 2021. It's been a minute. Yes, I did.
With who?
Not you.
You did not. You did not. No, you did not attend
you,
a game.
Guy.
You did not attend. No, you show me receipts. You have not attended one.
Not you, Guy.
Jeez. This guy. Benji says, not scared of any of those teams in Harbaugh and Hortiz and squad, I believe. How many primetimes games the Bolts have? Again, 5, third most in the NFL. Some have 7.
It's gonna be 6. Chiefs have 8. You believe that shit?
Was it 8?
Well, combined with their Christmas and their Thanksgiving schedule, and then obviously you throw in the Chargers at Brazil, and then whatever else they're gonna get. But yeah, they had 8 total. Crazy. They're the first team that they said to ever have that many primetime games. That's wild.
Wow. Matthew Dahl says, if we had the wide receiver core from last year, we'd be 6 and 11.
I think it was Trevor Sikkema that said earlier today, and this was great when they were starting to leak the Chiefs schedules out when they said that the Chiefs were going to play on both Christmas and Thanksgiving. He said, if you're a Chiefs fan, just don't bother ever seeing your family ever again.
Your family goodbye.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanksgiving slate. Again, just kind of looking at the NFL now. Thanksgiving slate. Packers at Lions. That'll be fun. Chiefs at Cowboys. Bengals at Ravens will be fun. And then Bears, Eagles also be fun. Yeah. 3 of the 4 of those I love. Chiefs landed 7 primetime games. They also have a Thanksgiving game in Dallas. So in total, 8 of their 17 games are standalone windows. Jeez. Nuts. Absolutely insane. Browns, Saints, and Titans all have a collective 0 primetime games. Woof. Okay, Jake, we've been on here about an hour. Folks from the chat, any thoughts?
Dan, I want you to go back and I want you to change every single prediction to a W. Every single prediction. We were way too hard. on the Chargers game. We were way too hard.
But on schedule, it should just be all wins.
It should just be all wins.
All dubs in the chat.
All dubs. Chargers are gonna go undefeated.
One of these, the thing is, one of these days
can't win them all. Would love to see him win them all.
No, but one of these days, the optimists out there are going to be banging their chests when this Chargers team wins Super Bowl. It's bound to happen eventually. So those who have been going 50 years and running, putting $250 on the Chargers to win the Super Bowl, you've lost a shit ton of money.
Look, I will give Tim Meh, the person who made that comment, a moment here, because it's amazing what a new organization and new coaching can do for you. And Dan knows this. And if you've been listening to this show long enough, you remember what I sounded like during the days of the Brandon Staley, Tom Telesco era. Dan couldn't shut me up as bad as I was when it came to my negativity.
I tried.
Because there wasn't anything changing. There really wasn't, as much as they wanted to talk about it. The execution and change and the execution in the front office was terrible. It was terrible. And I will shit you not, you would not get a predictive schedule like this out of me 3 years ago. Hell no. So this is me being optimistic.
And honestly, look, we both got them winning 10 or 11 games this year. I don't think that's us being pessimistic, is it?
I think it's realistic, given who you have to play in your division and the matchups that you have against other teams. Shit, just hope it doesn't get any worse than that.
Look, if the Chargers got out of this season with 10 wins, sign me up for it.
Yeah, and look, I have seen people like this with these 13-4 records. Hey, I hope 100% that you were right.
I hope I'm wrong.
If it is, I hope you come back on this show and you could say, Jake, you're an idiot. You're a loser. How dare you for not being more optimistic about this team and knowing what the hell was going to happen? Because boom, the Chargers just threw it in your face and made you eat a big bowl of crow. And here are the Chargers at 13-4. I will take every bit of that.
Yeah.
And I love the optimism here.
That'd be great. But the likelihood of that happening, not so much. All right. So
competitors welcome all of a sudden has a whole nother meaning now, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Matthew Dahl said it's time for Herbert to win games this year and take us to the playoffs and win a playoff game. I'm here for it. Marty Schottenheimer really could have gotten us there, sadly. Yeah, we were damn close. I will never forget that.
Let's not bring up the
Marlon McCray.
Chargers Patriots. No. God damn it, Dan. I wasn't going to say it. Thanks a lot. All I was going to say was the Chargers Patriots.
Snake hating. I can't
Jesus.
DK DraftKings has plus 310 on the division, plus 2,800 on the Super Bowl. Yeah. Plus 2,800. That'd be crazy.
Dan, I could see a situation like this that would 100% happening.
All four teams finished 10-7, says Michael.
How the hell would you go through the tiebreakers on that? I really think that there is going to be a 1 to 2 game difference between the four teams, honestly. And if not, at least 2 of them have the same record. I really think it's going to be that much of a horse race between them. Remember, 3 of the teams in the AFC West made the playoffs last year, with the Chiefs running away with it.
Which is nuts.
This year, I think it's going to be much closer, but I still think you get at least 3 teams that make the playoffs out of the AFC West.
Crazy. So, 10-7, 11-6 are our predictions initially. They're also 17-0, but we're not going to post that on here.
Right. And this is the fake prediction. The real prediction is elsewhere. Yeah. It was just wins all the way down the column.
Yeah. Alski says there are 3 games before the bye week they can lose, and then 8 they can easily win. 8-3 record, very doable. Just need to get 500 after, and Bolts are in good shape. So they're bullish on the 8-3. which Jake, you have them at 4-8-3. I have them at 8-3 as well.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go with the ifs. The hypocriticals. If the Chargers win that week 1 game.
Look, it's just a great way to start the season, and against an opponent that you just want to give the proverbial middle finger to for owning your division.
They're due.
And especially just after last season, there were so many things wrapped up in it. The way that they won games with every piece of luck that you had in the bank. I mean, my God. And then we don't have to talk about towards the end of the season, obviously, leading up to the Super Bowl. But yeah, like, I don't give a shit if it's only 1 win. If that you get that win against that team, it means a lot.
It means everything. What the last, I think they're, I don't know. I don't have the top number off the top of my head, but I think they're 3-21 in their last 24 matchups or something crazy like that. It's brutal. Absolutely brutal. Bean Hack says, better wear white shoes so no Isaiah Likely situation happening.
Point exactly.
Better have the goalposts aligned.
One thing that you might want to listen to Patrick Mahomes on. Yeah, don't wear white shoes.
Benji
white shoes.
Benji says, Andre James will win the center position and we need to fix left guard, but we are on the come up now. We will win in conference championship game.
Yeah, everything recently with minicamp going on, or with rookie camp going on, with Jim Harbaugh talking about Zion Johnson taking snaps and Bradley Bozeman taking snaps, and that's going to be a competitive war. I still think it's going to be Andre James that wins that battle, and that Zion Johnson will be back to his left guard spot. Let's not forget, they did not pick up the 5th year of Zion Johnson's contract. I think they are giving him more opportunities to be versatile and add more value to this team. But when it comes down to it, I think you're starting 5 from left to right: Slater, Johnson, James, Becton, Alt.
Man. And if they can get the optimum out of all of those guys, that's a nasty offensive line. I mean, again,
remember how bullish Joe Hortiz was when Daniel Popper was asking about it, which, hey, I credited Popper for asking that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, you brought in Mekhi Becton. Yeah, you brought in Andre James. But at the same time, you know what? We were all watching that Houston Texans playoff game.
Yep.
So, yes, you get the top out of those 5 players this season with a great running game and giving Justin Herbert protections to deal to his new weapons. You got something here.
Yeah. I mean, I got to say, it's hard not to be bullish with this Chargers team as we wrap up. By the way, Chargers fans, you guys are awesome. We got literally 1,000 people in this damn thing on a Wednesday hump day schedule release.
What the schedule release does to you.
Jeez, you guys are maniacal, and I love you all for it. Do us a favor, hit the like and subscribe. Helps out a ton. It really does, actually. It's hard not to be bullish. Now, here comes optimistic Dan here for a second.
Here we go. But everybody really likes Dark Dan, though, Dan.
Real quick though, Smoke and Ace says, I want to see Taylor Swift break up with Kelsey after week 1. If she didn't break up with him after the Super Bowl, she ain't breaking up with him after week 1. Come on. Marty YouTube says our offensive line is way better than last year. Chargers 13-4.
Go for it.
Hey, the Chargers go 13-4. Jake and I are about to be doing backflips everywhere.
I hope that he is right on both counts. I hope the offensive line is way better. It should be marginal. It should be considerably better given the fact that you have, if it doesn't end up being the starting 5 that I think it's going to be, it should be considerably better. But you compile that with a 13-4 record, holy shit.
Talk about vibes and briskets being smoked if you're 13-4.
Yeah.
Imagine going 13-4 against that slate. That would be unreal. Absolutely unreal.
The wild thing about all this, Dan, is that, and we talked about this after the season had ended, is that it's about the next playoff game is really just the biggest picture.
None of it matters.
The Chargers could go 9-8. And if somehow a 9-8 record is good enough for them to make the playoffs, who cares how they get in? Just get in. It really doesn't matter. Because all we want is that one playoff victory.
Yep. Aliski says, super pumped for that post-week 1 podcast after the dub. The build is real. Steve says, James is a much better as a zone blocker, fits our offense. Jared asked, did you guys see the QR code flash up for a single frame inside the Raiders house? Yes, we went through that. That was absolutely incredible. 15 clicks later. Hold the L. But yes, like I was saying, it is hard not to be optimistic this year, given the weapons that they've added for Justin, which this Chargers fan base and many out there nationally and locally have been clamoring for years. They finally, in theory, you would think, get a run game with Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton. They bring in pass-catching weapons with Conklin and Orande Gadsden in the second. They bring in a mammoth human being of Mekhi Becton, just won a Super Bowl. Bring in some offensive line reinforcements with Andre James. You look at the fullback stuff that's going on right now. The UDFA kid looks pretty fun. Trey Harris, KeAndre Lambert-Smith, and Ladd, and Mike Williams with Justin and its coaching staff. Is that the best weaponry that this Chargers team has had with Justin since he's been drafted? I say so. I don't think it's close.
People may go back to, as far as like talent goes, going back to what Keenan and Mike were. It's, again, the injury aspect is what really derailed that.
Sure.
But I think that you now have more of a complete offense. However you want to scale that on the barometer to say which one's better or not. You could go back to the days of Williams, Henry, Allen. But it's been a minute since you've had something that feels like and even still, that wasn't as good enough as an offense. But the Chargers have loaded up the depth of this team so much.
Yeah.
To go from what you had at the running back stable last year, and this is no knock on J.K. Dobbins, because, again, I believe that J.K. Dobbins earned a second contract, and depending on how long this situation with him plays out, I would love to see him back with the team. But all of a sudden, you look at that running back stable, and you're like, who the hell is going to be the odd man out?
Yeah.
That competition during training camp is going to be fierce.
Think about that. You got Najee Harris, Omarion Hampton, possibly J.K. Dobbins, Rocket Sanders, Kamani Vidal, who they just drafted last year, and Hassan Haskins, whose like special teams prowess is clearly noted by this team. And yeah, I think what we finally are seeing this Chargers team do for Justin Herbert is giving him firepower, not just talent, but firepower to go out and get points and yards in bunches and not have to tooth and claw, scratch all the way down the field, right? Like, it's painful sometimes watching those.
Somebody beat man coverage other than 15.
I mean, in previous years, someone do it other than 13. And then you just chuck it to Mike and see if you can get it. Like, that was your offense. Or dump it down to Eckler. Like, that's literally what you had for years. There was no one, aside from his rookie season, when it was Jalen Guyton and T. Billy blowing the top off. No one was doing that. Now you've got Ladd, Mike, Harris. Who knows what Quentin's going to end up being? Got Lambert-Smith, Darius Davis. Like, you've got firepower. And you've got skill sets that complement each other. And don't sleep on Orande Gadsden. Let me tell you, do not sleep on Orande. I still can't believe that they effing drafted him. I'm still in the clouds about that. Just watch. Honestly, the tight end sets are going to be sick this year. I cannot wait. I love the tight end room. Gadsden, Conklin, and Disley. I'm very bullish on that.
Just utilize it to the full potential.
Yeah,
again.
Totally.
Since Hunter Henry has departed, when you went through the days of Donald Parham and Jared Cook, you thought that come inside the 20 and those guys were going to be well utilized, and they weren't. now all of a sudden you got two guys who can be dynamic pass catchers, two guys who know what they are in Fisk and in Disley. Be your blockers, be your ass kickers up front. Is Scott Matlock going to have fullback competition? Because essentially he's been now relegated to an offensive player instead of a defensive player. But yeah, competitors welcome. It's taking on a whole new meaning with roster turnover, additions, and this insane fucking schedule.
Benji says, surrounded with playmakers. They can't double Ladin Williams and our tight ends, plus their RBs we got. We loaded for Bear. Yeah, Benji also says QJ will be wide receiver 4 or 5 by the start of the season. 4 or 5. So you got Ladd, Mike, Harris.
Honestly, that's how I would start it right now. I wouldn't even say by the start of the season. That's what I would have it at right now.
So yeah, he's probably wide receiver 4. Although 3.5, because I think Mike's going to be kind of like brought in and out with Harris. So that's kind of split. Maybe not. I don't know.
The veteran and rapport level with I was about to say Phillip Rivers. Holy shit. The rapport with Justin Herbert just takes that a mile up. He already knows what he can do. And the one thing that you know that they tried to have Quentin do last year was be that outside threat, was be able to go up and get contesting catches. Just that's not his game.
And then they went and got 2 guys that could do it.
Right. But then they got some.
Yeah. No, then they got 3 guys that can do it. They brought in Gadsden, Williams,
tested catch rate
Smith,
of all of those guys.
4 dudes after they realized he couldn't do it. Yeah, Brad says, like the tight end we got.
So does Dan.
Brennan says, Gadsden is going to start next season. Tight end been needing for a long time.
Dan, how do you feel about that?
I said it as soon as he was drafted.
Anybody want to throw any more Orande Gadsden questions over at Dan? Because he's excited. I don't know if you're excited. Are you excited? I think you're excited.
Not at all. Not even a little bit excited to have the one guy that I was most excited about the entire draft. The Chargers got. Damn it, rough. Anyways, exciting times, Jake. Still flowing 950 in the chat, which is absolutely insane. You guys are the best. I want to go back and watch that Minecraft thing 3 or 4 more times and see what else I can miss or what I missed in the Easter eggs.
They really go down the rabbit hole too with some of them that you're like, okay, what does that mean? Like, I really have to look that up again. And credit to the people in here who caught the Bears one. I did not get that one at all. That one was great.
Yeah.
And then knowing some of like the local burgers of the Juicy Lucy, like I didn't know that one either. Like,
nope.
Chargers social media team really is undefeated with the work that they put in this.
They really are. Benji says KLF could bow for the wide receiver 4 spot. I dig the hat, Dan. Yep. Arizona. If you know, you know. As a Syracuse fan, I've been watching Gadsden for a few years now. He is going to kill it. I see you, Kirk. I see you. And I hear you. And I love you. I love me some OG. Damn, James with a thumbs up. Jake, anything else you want to tell the great friends before we get out of here? We got a fun couple things in store for you. Got some special guests on the pipeline, so be on the lookout for that. Make sure you hit the subscribe, phone a friend, get the Bolt fam here on all things Chargers Unleashed. Jake, my hands still hurt from laying down that effing LVP last week. Like, they're cramping as I'm working with this damn mouse. So I gotta go get.
Yeah, Dan basically re-tiled his entire floor of his house
for the first time. Never.
So he had some fun. If you're wondering where he'd been, that's been a big reason for it. So
don't put it all on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't even try. Oh man, but Brennan says it best. Can the season start tomorrow? I wish.
Amen.
But the Chargers get a game before anyone else, which will be fun. So get your tickets for Canton. Chargers bringing Antonio Gates. It'll be fun.
Again, I say this every single year, Dan. I know that people poo-poo the preseason and say that it doesn't mean shit, but now the Chargers get an extra preseason game, and it's the Hall of Fame game. I don't care. And I know the Hall of Fame game is usually just a dud. don't give a shit. I know that we're just a few weeks after the 2025 NFL draft. I know we're in the thick of the NBA playoffs and the Stanley Cup playoffs. Where the fuck is football? Bring it back to me because I miss it.
Yes. All right, fam. This has been fun. Jake, appreciate you. Live shows, nothing like it. Chargers fans, you guys are the best. We'll be coming back to you here probably the next day or two as we get things ready for you with some offseason storylines from the podium and from the field. But Jake, until then, you can find this guy to my right somewhere.
Point the right direction.
Well, bye.